I've gathered 3 industry friends, leading experts in the home inspection space, to help answer the compelling question, why on God's green earth would a real estate agent ever recommend to a customer to waive a home inspection, and why would any customer ever do that? What are you seeing? Why? In the mind of the agent, why do they do this?
A lot of it comes to the market conditions, and not that it shouldn't be advisable to do it, but a lot of buyers feel like they are forced to waive it to even feel like their offer gets any kind of by the seller, by the, you know, if my offer is going to be competitive, if I do not waive it, it may not get accepted or will not get accepted. A lot of that, I mean, we're doing plenty of inspections, so obviously that's not true. Offers are getting accepted with inspections. So yeah, but unfortunately it became a thing. We're seeing it going away a little, you know, more. But
why do you think we're starting to see a reduction?
I think for us, we saw it very heavy when there was, 20 offers that were being put on the table. Yeah. And then as the amount of buyers that are in the market have decreased with the increased interest rates, we have less of that happening, but some, I think, just got in the habit of not recommending. And you had new agents who came into the business who that's all they ever knew. And so, we're seeing less of it happen now, I think, because it's not as competitive. But we still have some that aren't recommending or at least guiding their buyers to do it, and then we're seeing a lot of remorse with that.
What do you see, Tia, as the risk to the agent of recommending to their customer that they waive it? Why should the agent even care if it's making this transaction simpler?
I think it's more about, caring beyond having just a deal on the table sort of a thing. What's going to happen 3 months down the road when there's some, major things happening that haven't been addressed? How are you going to feel as an agent setting them up in that way? Is there a level of accountability? Is there a level of feeling guilty or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Well, in addition to feeling guilty or liability, I'm going to be responsible, is future referrals.
Yeah.
We're all in business for the long haul. We've been at this 10 years, 20 years, 30 years or more. Repeat business, referral business. Mm-hmm. What happens to an agent's referral stream when they have an unhappy customer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes away. You want the client to think back and be like, I had a great experience buying the home with me. And when you waive the inspection, they move in, all these problems come up. They're not thinking of that as a great experience. And then from the agent side too, like if there is a lawsuit, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors did a study that since COVID and a lot of the spikes in waiving, lawsuits increased 400%. So like
against agents.
Against agents, because the primary reason home inspectors are there to take on a lot of that liability. So when you remove the inspection, the liability's falling somewhere. If the inspector ain't there, it's normally going to fall at the agent's door.
Right, and a lot of that comes down to a misconception or lack of education on what a home inspector's actually doing.
Right.
Yeah, I find it incredible. I've been at this 30 years. Agents, my liability. I don't want to refer a particular home inspector because I don't want the liability. And now they've watched the pendulum swing since COVID of recommending not to have a home inspection and a quadrupling of lawsuits against agents.
Which home inspections were put in place at the existence of to protect the agent in the first place from it. And so we're almost forgetting why even home inspections exist. And unfortunately we're seeing that with the increased, liability on their part. So I think just continuing to educate, and it's one thing if a client opts out, but you definitely don't want to put that liability on yourself by recommending not to do something like that.
Right.
What would you say to a buyer? How should a buyer respond to the agent who says, just wait the home inspection, it'll be more competitive? What would you say to the buyer?
If a buyer does want to go and assume the liability themselves of not getting a home inspection and purchasing the house anyway, I would definitely advise them to get a home inspector in after they've purchased the property to at least get ahead of any small issues before they become major problems.
And they'll have no recourse with the seller, no recourse with they'll have no recourse, but the idea is, I took this on, I accepted this problem, maybe now I should solve it before it gets larger.
Right.
I've searched the whole country. I have not yet had a single person make the compelling case to me why a real estate agent should recommend the customer waive or why a buyer should waive an inspection. You've heard it here, never waive the home inspection.
Never.